morning everyone and welcome to Walkabout Wednesday. I kind of want to give the perspective of a student in lockdown. It is currently 5 to 9 I think in the morning and I am about to get ready. My classes start at 10 but I'm gonna get up now, get dressed, get ready for my day. So if anyone's been watching my videos since like September I think, you'll know that the evening before I have uni I'll plan my outfit, and I always feel like if I dress a little bit more professionally, so wearing a skirt, I don't know, like not necessarily professionally, just a bit more put together, then I myself mentally am a little bit more put together. It's still a comfy outfit, but I just feel a lot more put together. So I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna focus, because I'm like, right, I'm in uni mode now. So that's that. So I'm sat ready for class. My only classmate is the cat. This lecture will probably last an hour and a half, maybe a little bit longer. If this was a normal Monday morning, then I'd probably be walking into class right now. Yeah, I'd be walking into class, having got off the train and stuff. But yeah, it just is what it is. And this is only gonna last until like 1 o'clock this afternoon. But usually if I was in class, I'd still be there between like 3:30 and 4:30. So I think it definitely affects my course specifically, because I'm a very practical sort of hands-on course. And I think that's directly affected by the fact we can't be in the studio, we can't go into any of the workshops or anything, but that is the reality for now. And this is me for the next 3 hours. So I've just had an hour and a half lecture. Now I have another hour where I can hop on and ask questions about the project or ask questions about where I think I can go, but it's with the whole class. So usually we'd be sat in class, we could ask questions, we could ask our peers, we could ask our tutors, and they're there. So this is kind of acting as a bit of class time, I guess. That's for another hour, then I'm gonna have some lunch. And then technically, scheduled wise, that's me done for the day. Usually I'd be in for another like 3 hours after lunch, but obviously not now. Hello everyone, I'm currently making lunch. So the group forum wasn't what I thought it was. Basically my tutor said that he has made himself free for the next hour, so we can have a conversation with him one-to-one, or if we need to speak as a group then we can. But none of us really have any questions at the moment because we're all just starting our projects and we can't really ask questions about a project that we don't really know where it's going yet. Whilst I make my lunch, I wanted to sort of express why I was making this video. Before I start, I'm not having a go at my tutors because they're doing the best they can to make the course accessible for all of us at home. And 2, this isn't me looking for sympathy. There's a lot worse things going on in the world right now, but I kind of feel as a uni student that just generally we've been kind of ignored and sort of put out of the equation. This is what this video is kind of expressing, I think is the best way to say it. So I've signed petitions for lowering tuition fees for this year and for however long COVID goes on for. I've signed petitions for like lowering student rent or just making more funds available for students that have to continue to pay rent for like places that we're not living in. Because, you know, that's still happening, still paying rent on a place that I don't live in. And the ones that I have signed and have gone to Parliament, I've received like the transcripts and stuff for, so I know what's been said. And there was one that I signed about halving tuition fees or having a reduction in tuition fees. And as I was reading the transcript, the basic consensus was students have signed up to go to university and pay £9 a year, and that's not going to change. That was basically what I understood from reading the transcript. My toasty is toasting. Gonna flip it over, hang on. So yeah, basically the general consensus was we've signed up to pay £9 a year and so therefore we're not going to change it. Yes, we have signed up to pay £9 a year. We've signed up to pay £9 a year in the knowledge that we'll be receiving like the best education that we can for the courses that we're on. We will have access to all of the facilities that we would need to facilitate our course. So for me, that's plaster workshops, that's woodwork workshops, that's a printing workshop, that's a haberdashery, that's a sewing workshop that I'm paying £9 to have access to. But because I no longer have that access through the fact that obviously we're in lockdown and I'm not at uni, the fact that we're still paying £9 for my 2-hour lecture this morning, the fact that today's lecture, if I was at uni, would have spanned the whole day. Like we would have discussed it, we would have gone off and done work and our tutors would have been there for us to talk to about our work, like in real time. We wouldn't have to send an email and wait for a direct response. We would get a response there and then to the questions we're asking, and then we'd like create a discussion with our tutors and just have a conversation about what we're doing. And that's what I signed up for. That's what I'm happy to pay £9,000 for. But I'm not happy to pay £9,000 for a session that's lasted 2 hours and we've sort of been left for the rest of the day. And as I said before, this is not me having a go at my tutors, because they're doing the best they can on a schedule with loads of students emailing them about their own work because they don't have that time in class to speak to them about it. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't think £9,000 is worth a 2-hour lecture. But at the start of my course, I signed up to pay for that, and it was worth £9,000 because I was in class and I could use the workshops and I could do whatever. But now I've had a 2-hour lecture and now I'm sat at home about to have my lunch and then about to do self-directed learning for the rest of the afternoon. Good evening, everybody. It's Tuesday evening, which means I've not vlogged all day. Clever me. Usually I'd be going in and having a workshop induction so that I was briefed on all the health and safety on a particular workshop at my uni campus. But obviously today that did not happen. And because I didn't sort of have like uni class or specific uni stuff today, I didn't vlog it. Tomorrow I've got a meeting with my group that we're doing group work with, and then that group is going to have a group tutorial with my tutor. But usually on a Wednesday I'd go in and we'd have like a lecture. So yeah, I don't have a lecture tomorrow. I've got a 45-minute tutorial and that's it. As much as it would have been good to like obviously film 3 days worth of vlog footage, and this is me in the life of a uni student in lockdown, the fact that I only have a 45-minute tutorial tomorrow is not exactly going to be like great vlog material. So there we go. There was kind of something else I wanted to touch on in this video. I wanted to talk about rent. So my rent, I'm not going to give you a specific number. It's quite a bit. You have your tuition loan. That pays for your tuition, like you don't have to contribute to that at all, and you only start paying it back once you've got a job and you're earning over 27,000 a year, I think is the new threshold for that. So obviously it takes a long time to pay off, but then if you haven't paid it off in 30 years, then they just write it off anyway. You can also apply for a maintenance loan, which is basically a student loan. They just give you a set amount of money to help you pay for rent and food and all that sort of thing. And it's all sort of based off of your parents or your carers and what their financial position is and stuff like that. So because my parents both work, and honestly I don't think it really matters what they do, it's the fact that they're both in work, I'm one of like the lowest thresholds of payment, so I don't get a lot. My student maintenance loan for the year doesn't even cover what my rent costs for the year, so there we go, let's leave it at that. Kind of like the tuition fees, you know what you're signing up for when you agree to like pay your rent, and like that's fine because you're living there, you're using the amenities, and if bills are included then you're using everything. But for thousands of students over the country, thousands, probably even more than that honestly, we are paying for student homes that we're not living in. We're physically not allowed to leave where we are currently at. That feels like Moira from Schitt's Creek. If anyone has watched Schitt's Creek on Netflix, you'll know what I mean. And if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. It's absolutely hilarious. But she's like, would you like a lovely tour of the place that where I currently am? Something like that. And it's been a TikTok sound recently on my TikTok, so I keep reciting it quite a bit. Thousands of students physically are not allowed to go back to their uni homes because it's illegal to cross the country. It's illegal to go anywhere that isn't like local, whatever local means. So yeah, I'm paying for a flat in Birmingham that I'm not living in. I'm sure there's a lot of other students across the country that are in a similar or the exact same situation. And I kind of want this video just to go out there and be like, I completely understand how you feel. I understand that you feel ignored by a lot of people that are meant to be leading us. The only information that I've seen for uni students from the government since the travel window was announced for December for students to come home for Christmas, the only bit of information I've seen for uni students is an advert on TikTok which said students, your universities will tell you when you can go back. And I'm not saying that it's a complete injustice, because I completely understand why we have to stay at home. But the fact that there has been zero information and that we have to rely upon our unis who are relying on the government who aren't giving them any information. So there we go. That's the tea if I had a cup of tea. This next bit is quite weird and difficult to talk about, so I don't want anyone to sort of take offence, or yeah, I want to make that clear now. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but it's a bit difficult for me to put into words what I'm trying to say. So with that said, I know that there's been a lot of money sort of pumped into hardship funds for students, and that's up to the uni to distribute that. But I know me personally, and like pretty much most of the other students that I know, don't have access to those hardship funds. And it sounds weird to say, but I'm not in hardship. I'm paying quite a lot of money every month that's coming out of my student loan that should be used to spend on materials for facilitating my course, but it's going on rent on a place that I'm not staying in. And like I said, that's kind of similar for a lot of people, and we don't qualify for the hardship funds, so we're not actually getting any more financial help at all. And that sounds really difficult, and I don't know, I feel like I sound as if I'm acting entitled or privileged. The fact that I'm at uni in the first place is a privilege to me anyway, but that's kind of a different thing, because I've always sort of wanted to go and I've worked hard to be there. So I don't think that's part of the equation. This is what I was talking about. Like, this is no offence to anyone who is in general hardship with money, but I think it's the culmination of the fact that we've just been constantly ignored, which makes me want to grasp every single like bit of information they give us regarding universities, which is why I'm talking about like the hardship funds and stuff. I wouldn't have access to them, but it's the fact that it's something that's kind of been acknowledged. But yeah, I think it's acknowledgement more than anything else. We are a group of people that exists. We're not just a number, and we're not just a paycheck that comes into the account of, you know, whoever, whatever, the country. I don't know. I don't do finance. And feel free to shout me out and tell me that I'm being entitled in the comments. Like, I am completely okay reading those comments, and I'm really sorry if I have offended anyone or if I've come across that way. But that is the reality. I'm not trying to sound entitled. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful for the help, for the loan and stuff that I do get. I think it's the culmination of the fact that I felt very unsupported anyway by the government. I am going to say the government because they're the people that are meant to be leading us. They're the people that are meant to have the answers for us. It's the fact that if they're ever asked about a uni student, they dodge the question, and it's, oh, they've done so well, like they've kept themselves together, they've really come together as a group of people. Primary schools, secondary schools and colleges, they all get that information. They're all given, they're all acknowledged. I think that's what it whittles down to. Like, they are acknowledged. If I hear a news report, then those divisions of education are acknowledged, but you never hear them say universities. It's like, we are people too. You get more money off of us than off of people that go to secondary schools and primary schools where their education is free. £9,000 for three and a half hours of learning a week. And that's my point. We knew we were paying £9,000, and that's when we were getting the facilities to work in and the face-to-face contact teaching with our tutors. We're not getting that now. So why the hell am I paying £9,000?